Okay guys, long time no see, all of sort of 25 minutes or so, or half an hour. We are back on Virtual Pool 4 online, and we are all set for yet another match. This is Super Sunday, although I haven't named it that. But we've got our second match today, and it's from the one loss side between djsimon, the conqueror of Larry last night, the shock of the tournament, and we have djsimon lined up with SemiPro, and they're in a race to 10 any minute now. The room should be going up, and we've got the match later on tonight on the winner's side, race to 14 with Spectre Dawn and Stub at 9 PM my time. The room is up, and I'm going to dive straight in. Well, djsimon created the shot last night, and he was the better player, and he made the least amount of errors if you compare him with Larry. And in the end, he took the chances from the mistakes Larry made and won out, and he's going to have to do something similar this afternoon with this match with SemiPro. And I'm first in. None of the players seem interested yet, and I'm just going to nudge another bit of turkey before we start because I am starving. So SemiPro's arrived. And I think djsimon's got himself embroiled in this carry-on that was on last night with Mr. Nineball and Wanwa. Not exactly the right time to be dealing with anything like that when he's got a match on. But it's 10 ball, and it's race to 10 in the one loss side. It's alternate breaks, and it's a call shot game. All combos and banks should be called, and the 10 ball is automatically called by the game. So at the moment we're just looking at SemiPro knocking a few balls around until djsimon can finally get himself in. I'm good to go. And both the YouTube and Twitch streams and Facebook should all be up and running, as should the chat. Well, we'll have another look at the bracket then. This is a match, excuse me, this is a match that we're waiting on. I thought he'd arrived here. There's that weird number next to djsimon's name again, and that only ever appears when one player arrives in the room. The other player seems to have these list of numbers after their name in the bracket for some weird reason. So we've got Bedhead and VP Monster lined up in the one loss side. And we've got Snake Eyes still waiting on his opponent. And over on the winner's side, at the bottom of the bracket, we can see Acero is lying in wait for the result of the match tonight between Spectre Dawn and Stub. And of course, if I can get this damn thing to work, up at the top of the bracket, we can see Vinces, who was very strong, particularly in the middle of the match against Mr. Bill, and ran away with a big lead. But Mr. Bill, I think, had like 4 racks that he managed to get back, and get a little bit more respect in the score. Got it back to 14-7. But Vinces is by far, the showing so far, he is by far the strongest player in the tournament, which is why he's still in the winner's side. He's really been very good. But at last, djsimon has decided to join the room. And off we go with the lag. And once again, I can't remember whose cue's what. Well, that's a good lag on the right hand side. And that one's going to fall short. So djsimon has won the lag. And off we go. And straight away, he scratched the middle pocket. Well, a quick look at the top end. We can see where the problem is there. 8 ball hidden behind the 10. That's just gone a little tad too far. It makes this pot that bit more difficult. Now, can Simon see enough of that 3? And the answer is yes, he can. But he's just going to play it safe. Well, I'll bid anybody a welcome if there's anybody out there. Say hello. Probably everybody's going for their dinner, as a matter of fact. It's not exactly the most convenient time for most people in the UK. Most people are away getting something to eat like I did. I had to go and have a snack there. Oh, good evening. At least we've got one. Yeah, well, remember, it's war tonight, as Stubb calls it. Nuclear war in just under 4 hours' time. 3 hours and 50 minutes to be exact. So djsimon is trying to pull off another result here in this match against SemiPro. Pulled off a big result last night against Larry. And of course this first rack is still going to be held up with that that 8 ball. Let me get my line straight. Hang on a minute. That's better. That 8 ball hidden behind the 10 there. And now SemiPro needs to get up the table with enough angle to get back onto that top rail. So this is a crucial shot. All about judging the pace to find this narrow window here. And he's got there. Now can he get out for the 9? Well, you're all welcome, guys. It's about time some of you guys click subscribe if you haven't done. That way I get my subscribers up, but I ain't begging. Not like half the guys are watching YouTube. Please subscribe, please do this, please do the next thing. Subscribe if you want. Likewise for Twitch. And that was a good shot in the 9. So SemiPro is going to get off and running. What I said last night with a match with Simon and Larry, it's so important for the unfavoured player, the player who isn't expected to win, the underdog, if you want to call him that. It's important that he gets off to a good start. Well, this time the first rack's gone against Simon. It's up to him to respond. And SemiPro out with a jump stick in a second or two. Well, I thought that jumped off the table. I think my eyes are deceiving me. That went straight into the pocket. Well, that'll give Simon an idea that if he's going to play safeties, he has to get the cue ball tighter to an object ball to actually prevent SemiPro jumping. That was a cracking shot there. We're just having to check this with inside to go back up the left for that 5. Now, well, we can see the 7 again will go as long as you get good on it. Even up there, you might be able to still cut it. And SemiPro has either hit it too hard or he's not hit it hard enough, because he's most certainly the wrong side of this 6. It's got to be with lots of inside English again to try and manoeuvre the cue ball off 2 rails and miss the 8 ball to get over the other side of the 7. And he's finished. Oh, does that go past? No, it doesn't. He wanted the other side of the 7. Now, is that a straight in pot for djsimon? Oh no, it isn't. He's going to have to try and judge the weight of this to try and get it to the bottom rail here. Or is he trying to line up the pot? No, he's trying to get it safe. And he's made a good effort at it. Thin edge available for SemiPro, just to try and brush that 7 towards the middle diamond and the bottom rail if he wants, and then try and get distance. Now, is he going for the bank? Is he trying to fool me again like the other guys have done, or is he just playing the safety? Well, he went for the bank and he got the double kiss, and Simon has his chance. And it looks as if he can just stun across to the right if he wants. Well, he's running it through, off the rail. And provided he can, well, I think he's in danger of colliding with this 10 ball. And he needs to hit it half ball to get up the table. And, well, he's missed it 8. And it's probably worked out pretty good for him. But the danger was always being very close to that 10 ball, and it had to be hitting it half ball to get the cue ball back up. But having missed it 8, at least he left it safe. And now he's got a tough one to deal with. I defy anyone to say that these are easy shots. To try and clip that 8 ball really soft and not to move it too much is so difficult. And even with that shot, he still left SemiPro the cut. I don't think he's really got much option other than to go for this. But it has to be marked down as a chance gone for djsimon. A little stun or draw off this 9 and he'll be right behind the 10 for 2-0. Well, I think it's exactly the opposite to the start that djsimon had last night against Larry. I think Simon won the first 2 racks. And this time he's trailing by 2. It's his break in rack number 3. And I think the 1 ball has gone. No, it hasn't. It's the 3 ball. And can he see the 1? Yes, he can. Oh, he's hung it up. And, well, that's easy enough to just drop that in off the rail. And has SemiPro gone enough? I think he has. And that's the unforced errors that djsimon has to cut to a minimum and not be gifting chances to his opponent if he's going to stay in the match. Now SemiPro has got a problem to deal with here, a big problem. And no option but the safety, and it is a good safety because this is odds on a scratch. And he's managed to just skim around the corner, and that is a good shot. That was really tough to pick that out and avoid the scratch. I presume the 4 doesn't cut past the 5. No. The other thing I don't ask the guys in the stream, I don't ask you guys whether you mind me rotating the table a lot. I like to have a look at a shot occasionally just to see whether it is what I think it is or whether it isn't. And I try and not move as much as I can, but sometimes I get carried away and start rotating the table and looking at shots. Well, djsimon looking for the kick, and he's unlucky. That was a great effort. He might have got away with it. He might have got away with it. Yep, that's ended up a nice bit of good luck there for Simon. He made a valiant effort at the kick on that 4. Yeah, I think I do that even when I'm watching a stream played back. I end up trying to rotate the bloody stream. Or the video, I should say. Well, we're going to have the tip-tap until somebody tries to get distance or makes a mistake. The objective is always to try and get up the table, and the one way of doing it is if that cue ball finishes straight against that 4, like that, if it finishes facing it, you can always then just put a bit of bottom in the cue ball and just go for the double hit and come back up the table and get distance on it. That's the one way to make it more difficult for your opponent to get the correct hit on it from distance. But there's no opportunity of that yet, but it's going to come at some point where somebody's going to try and take the risk and get away from that 4. Well, SemiPro thinks he's got a shot here. He's going to have to chance his arm if he's going to try and thin it and somehow get on the 5. No. Common sense prevails, but he's got the distance, and that now changes the way things are going to go in this rack. And a good effort at the cut, and he was on the 5 as well. A good effort, but this time SemiPro has the perfect angle to pot that 4. Maybe with a little bit of help and spin, not much, just to go off the short rail, side rail, and maybe, well, he's going to actually hit the other short rail, I think. Oh, that's finished plumb on the 5. So SemiPro ended up the winner of the tactical battle, even though Simon had a chance there. It was a tough cut. Played it well to get on the 5, but the ball didn't go in, and SemiPro has got his chance again. Still not an absolute gimme. Well, he's actually opened up the 8 ball a bit more, nudging into the 10 with that shot. Now, I don't think SemiPro, I mean, he could drop this in dead weight, or he could go around and play the 10 into the same pocket. It's whether he wants to risk running that cue ball. But you'd have to just drop this in dead weight to stop the cue ball going out into the table. So he's going what seems to be the safest route, trying to get as straight as he can on it, and he should be 3-0. Well, Simon's had a couple of goes, and it's costing him racks. So something needs to change fairly quickly here in his favour. The break is with SemiPro, and the break is dry. And first problem here is the 1 will squeeze past the 6, but no way is he going to end up good on this 2 ball unless he can squeeze it past the 8. Well, that's tight, but it is so likely that this 2 will run into the 8. Yeah, that was always going to happen, but it's safe. Unless, I thought he was maybe going to try a fancy bank up and down the table there. So we're into another safety exchange, and Simon has to win one of these. And now SemiPro can go for distance. He can bank the 2. Hopefully for his sake he's going to miss the 7 with the 2 ball. If he can do that, he'll get the 2 into the middle of the table. Maybe he doesn't fancy that he's got the right angle, but I think he can. Well, I don't know what safety shot he saw there, but that wasn't what I had in mind. But it is a genuine chance now for djsimon, and he's dead straight in the 2, so he can't really get that far away from the rail. And he needs to be able to get control of this cue ball when he plays the 3. You see, if you look at the 3, if he just rolls it in, he might brush into the 4. So he's played the little stunt, and he's created another problem for himself, because it's going to have to be a 7-8 combo if he gets there. It's not difficult, but if he's looking at it from here, it's not a problem. Anywhere, you know, it's when you end up down here or up here you've got problems to deal with. So the other problem's the 5 ball, and this is not going to be any real chance of getting on the 6. Now what does he do? Does he look for the safety or try and get up the table? And he's scratched. And now it should be 4-0, and it's another error there where Simon just felt he had to go for it. And this is what I was talking about making this decision on the choice of shot, whether it's valid, risking it, and not getting desperate early on. It's 3-0, but it has it's given SemiPro a chance, but that's now gone wrong. Well, it won't go past the 9. It's too much of a cheat in the pocket to try and do that, I think, looking at it. But he can certainly just push to the rail and leave Simon a straight choice again. The bank is on. He's going to have to make it though. It's not set as a bank, I don't think. You've got to make that. He's going to have to cut that to the rail on the left hand side to make the angle for the bank. Now how's his luck? It's not too bad. And now it's a difficult cut for SemiPro, and if he gets it, he should be on the 9. Yeah, very difficult. And once again, there's a danger here. Immediately I see what's left with this 7 ball, immediately my alarm bells start ringing. He's got to be careful of the scratch, and he's trying to create the angle by cutting it in and spinning around to get a shot in the 9. And I think Simon's just trying to do too much right now, when he should maybe just be biding his time a bit. But I don't think he really had much option there though, other than trying to get the cue ball up the table. And it's now 4-0. Yeah, you just sometimes have to gather your thoughts. You have to be fully focused. Remember you've got the minute shot clock, and just take that wee bit more time. Maybe his dinner's in the oven. Maybe that's what it is. But djsimon has broke off in rack number 5. The 2 ball has gone. He's got no shot in the 1. He's not got a combo. But he can certainly cut the 1 and just come off that short rail over to the left hand side, and he should have it reasonably safe. Now this shot here is not on. I mean, he might be calling a 10, but just playing safe. But again, it is well out of line. And all he's done now is he's opened up the 9 and the 10 at the top end, and he's given Spectre Dawn a starter, albeit he might be the wrong side of that one. He might have to come across the table twice. Well, that's... I don't think that was ever going to get there at that pace. Did I say Spectre Dawn or did I say SemiPro there? I'm not even listening to what I'm saying. And the thing about becoming a good match player is actually to... Did I say Spectre Dawn? Something in the back of my mind said, you said Spectre Dawn there instead SemiPro. I think it's because it begins with an S. But what I'm thinking is that to become a match player, you have to... I did. You have to start using all the facets of the game. You have to control your pace. You don't want to be rushed into doing things. You don't want to be desperate. It's 4-0 and it's not desperate yet. You just got to be patient and not do anything silly and not take any undue risks. Now here is either a billiard onto the 4 or the cut onto the 4, which I feel he has to go for. Got no idea what he's going to end up on here. Billiard off the 3 onto the 4. And now he needs a bit of luck. And is that going to squat past the 7? Yes, it has. Now he's got absolutely nothing to do with the cue ball. Now really, at this stage in the tournament, a player has to be running this table. And I think he's ended up too straight. No, he hasn't. He's ideal. He's got a little angle. But you see, he's just holding back on actually playing the right shot there. He's content to leave it at distance. It should be in. But he really wanted to be up the table and out a wee bit more. Maybe I'm being a wee bit overcritical, but... Now if he's finished where he is, he's fine. He can just drag and drop in behind the 8. And has to have that angle. Well, that wasn't the shot. Believe me, that was not the shot. It's a little draggy draw shot he wanted to play with confidence there to get behind that 8. He's still got a cut, but he's making it difficult for himself when there's no need to. And what's he done here? Well, again, he doesn't want to try and do anything drastic. Just draw it up to the safe area and leave the pot. So this should get djsimon off and running. And I think the break goes back to SemiPro. Yep, we're into rack number 6. And the 4 ball goes in. And he's got the possible 1-6 combo. This looks a better combo down the rail. It looks to be lined pretty well. And I think even if he pushes that 1 ball to the rail slightly like that, the 6 will still go in. Because it was sitting in a very nice position. Now, Let's look at the 7 while he's cutting that. Well, we can see that the 7 goes, but it's the usual story. It will only go if you can get there on this side. Now, is SemiPro going to try and do something here? He's got an angle to come across the table twice and try and nudge the 7 and 10 and still have a shot in the 3. Well, he's not risking it. He's going to have to try and do something off the 5. That was an opportunity there to take a risk, but he wasn't prepared to do it. And why do it when you've got a 4-1 lead? And this is tough. This is not a pretty shot. I think he might just play safe. Yeah. And it is not a good safety, because he should be buried behind that 9 in a second or two. It needs to be tight. And I think that's tight enough. And of course, even if Simon gets a shot here, whether it be ball in hand or not, he's still got a big ask to get down onto that 7. But SemiPro fancies he can jump it, and yes he can. And it's got to be really tight against the object ball. And I thought that was, but SemiPro thought differently. But of course, he's on the wrong side of the 7. And that is how to tie a player up. And Simon is in dire trouble here. It's not difficult to kick, but you just don't know what's going to happen. He might be better calling the corner pocket. Well, I think the left-hand corner pocket would be better if he can actually kick this into the rail on the side and maybe hit the 7 full in the face. He's got a chance of putting into the bottom left. Well, actually nearly went into the middle. Well, SemiPro is going to have a tough shot regardless. Queuing right over the 9. And really all he has to do though is roll that 7 in. Oh, I think he's trying to run for cover. He may well have had a go at the pot because he's ended up on the 8. Well, this is a good bank, that 7 ball, but Simon's going to scratch, and that is another disaster at the wrong time. Now, can SemiPro get good on this 8 ball? Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2, and what are they in the second half yet? And he's good on the 8. Oh, just started. That's a good score so far. And can Liverpool go all the way this season? And Man City might have something to say about it. And that's not gone far enough. If it had the pace, it would have ran the other side of that 10. And he would have had it straight into the corner pocket. So now it's a straight choice again. To thin it and run for cover, or to play the bank. And that's a good one. And this is still a good bank. It's off the rail. And remember, being a called shot game, it has to go in this bottom right hand corner. You don't get 2 goes at it like you do in 9 ball. And that looks not bad. Oh, it's just cheated the pocket and gone in. And that gets Simon back to within 2. And that all came about from that failed positional shot to get to the 9 by SemiPro. And this time Simon's break comes up dry. We've got the 8 ball trying to hide behind the 10 there, although there's an area to get into to make the cut on that 8 should it come to it. And that is a good safety, because, well, I think there is an angle there just before the 4 to try and get to that first diamond on the short rail, to try and get to there to kick the 1. Now, can he use a little bit of swerve to go between the 1 and the 2 and spin it into the back of it from the back rail? That looks a bit tight to be able to do that. I think that's tough. And he's going to jump it. And well, that cue ball just stayed straight. Well, now djsimon, he doesn't have a good opportunity to run out here, but he's got a chance only if he can get this cue ball tight to try and go for 3 fouls. And again, well, we saw SemiPro jump that other ball. I think he's about the similar distance behind the 8 here. And this time I don't think he's going to jump. He's looking to kick it if he can get that angle. That middle pocket looks close. Yep. I think the middle pocket was almost in the point you want to hit that rail, which is why he went the other side of it, and of course that wasn't going to give him the angle to get to it. Now Simon has got to get this tight and nail it to the 6. And he needs to make sure he doesn't pot the 1 by mistake, and he's just brushed past the 6. I think SemiPro might try and jump this, even though that's closer than he was to the 8 ball, because he's jumping over the side of the 6, so there's less surface area of the 6 to hit. And that's why you have to get that cue ball nailed onto the object ball in this game. One goes past the 5. And Simon's hung it up, trying to hit it in off the far jaw. As soon as you hit those knuckles with any pace, it's going to stay out. And look at where the 2 is, and then look at where the 3 is. 4's over there, 5's there, and then that's the problem. Getting on the 8. And he's got the pace of that, okay. He's just content just to roll through. He's got to be on the 5. Well, this is now left far too much of an angle. I don't know whether he's going to go up and down or whether he's going to try and drag this Yep, he's trying to drag it to hold it as much as he can, and he's made a pretty good effort at it. But now the angle he has means that he can pot the 7 and go that way to somewhere about there and leave the cut on that 8. And if he gets to the red line, which he has, the shot is on. And this is going to be tough. This is no man's land. And this is the difference between having a 3-rack lead or just down to 1. And he's played the cut. Well, he just has to get this on the point of that 10 ball. It's off the rail, so it's not as difficult as it could have been. This for 5-2. And he almost cut it away there, but he's gone in off the jaw. And the break back with SemiPro in rack number 8. So SemiPro is now halfway home. And a ball, and 1 ball as well. I don't know what the other one was that went in. Excuse me. Yeah, the 1 and the 5 have gone. Once again, with this type of shot, the 2 is very tight even to think of cutting it, but of course you can't get to the 3. So there's no point in going for something silly. And just to push out played, and djsimon can either play from there or put SemiPro back in, but he has an opportunity to get distance here, but he has to avoid hitting that 9 ball if he's going to go off the left hand side of the 2, and he has to try and just cut that as close to this bottom rail. Well, I don't know what he tried there. I haven't a clue what he tried there. Whatever he did try, it looked as if he hit it far too hard to me. You've got to stay focused. There's still a job to be done here to keep yourself in the match. So SemiPro has been given the opportunity with the table wide open to run these balls to widen the gap even more. Of course, now with it being the race to 10, SemiPro's on the run in and Simon's running out of racks. I'm just going to mute the mic while I blow my nose. So, straightforward 9 ball, anywhere out into the table for the shot in the 10. And with that 10 ball going in, it's now a tall order for djsimon to string racks together and win the bigger share of them to get to the line from this position. 6-2 down. djsimon breaking off. No joy, but he could be in trouble here again if SemiPro can get the angle off the one thin and around the other side of the table, well, he's run into the 5. Well, Simon's got the same opportunity here. It has to be feather thin on the one and get the cue ball running, and I think it's going to run into the gap here. How does that look from there? Well, the 1 goes, no problem. Of course, the 2 is the issue. So again, what's the point in taking it? And that's going to be the missed call. And SemiPro had Simon in a lot of trouble there. And this 2 needs to get to the rail. And there's a big enough gap to jump the 4. And of course he's going to be cutting the 2 and going for the pot. Now the cue ball has to come over the right hand side of the table here, so he should, hopefully for his sake, have a shot in the 3. And he's got the gap, he can get there. And back up the table again, avoiding traffic. He should have a shot in the 4. It's all about missing any collisions. And he's avoided that. And that's not bad. He's a wee bit more of a cut than he would like. Similar problem, just getting into the gap. Big gap in the left hand side to have a sight in the 5. And he's got there. Another tough shot here, because again he's the wrong angle in the 5 from where he would really have liked to have been. So he's got to work the cue ball. I think he's trying to just stun across. Played the right enough shot to get there, but it just makes the shot a lot more difficult, especially at that angle. So Simon has a glimmer of a chance here if he can get good on the 6. That's the first barrier that's in his way. I think he can just draw soft off this. The cue ball will get up the table. And now, seems to me the simple one's just to go around off the short rail to the left hand side and get on that 7 into the right middle pocket. And the pace looks reasonable enough. Although he's going to have to, I think, go up the table. Yeah, there's no way he's going to hold that. He's got to let the cue ball run. So anything but straight up and down. He has to be running at an angle like that. Well, he's actually straightened up and it's coming good if it keeps going. Another tough one, because again you're putting it into a blind pocket. And he's thinking too much about the 9 ball there. And I think SemiPro may well line up the reverse bank into this bottom left. Nope, not even risking that. Well, this time he might regret it. He hasn't got it really safe. The cut is on and Simon has to go for it. He's not got any other options. And it's not easy. And it goes. The pace is good. And he should have another rack in the board. Well, he's dead straight. He can go a wee bit forward and around as long as he avoids any threat of a scratch. And this will bring it back to 6-3. Now, any latecomers that have come in, if there are any, you missed a match earlier on this afternoon between Vinces and Mr. Bill, and at one phase in the match, Vinces was just given a masterclass of positional play, and was really, really strong. Bill came back into it a wee bit. I think he was 13-3 down in the race to 14. And Bill managed to pinch a few racks towards the end of the match, but it was only ever going to be a matter of time before Vinces got a good chance and put the match away, and eventually won it 14-7, and he is looking extremely good. And then we've got this match on the one-loss side with djsimon and SemiPro, and it looks like it's going to go SemiPro's way at this moment in time, but it is not a lost cause yet. And then after this match, we're going to have a break for a couple of hours, and then we'll have the match on the winner's side tonight between Spectre Dawn and Stubb in the race to 14. Easy escape for SemiPro, but just can't guarantee he's going to leave it safe. And where's that cue ball going? Well, he's did his damnedest to try and get cover there. I don't think he has, but it was not a bad outcome. But the 1 will go past the 8. There is a gap and more than half a pocket to get it in, and just clipped to 8, and it's hung over. Still a very difficult shot, and then SemiPro can't avoid hitting the 3, but if he hits this soft enough, he should get a little bounce out. Well, he's drawn away from it. He's played it well. I don't think he could avoid that 3 there. And now he's definitely running away from the 3. He's going to have to stun up into the 7 if he can. And just use that to hold position. And he's created another problem, because he's now married the 7 to the 5 almost, but we know the 5 goes. We can see that, but only if you can get on it. And he's going to have to escape this one with a jump stick. So this one isn't all doom and gloom, this rack for djsimon. He might have a chance if SemiPro can't put this 4 away and get on the 5. Oh, and he's split the 5 and the 7, and he's left the 4 on, so there's your chance. It's all a question of whether djsimon can take it, but he really has to. And he's drawn it too far, too much juice. Well, this is 100% concentration on the 5. Forget about the cue ball. As long as you don't hit it too hard, you'll have a shot in the 6. Total focus in the 5. And he hasn't got there. And that was as good a chance as any as he's going to get in this rack, because I think SemiPro will put it away now. The 10 now well in play. Makes life much simpler. Not that there was going to be really a problem anyway, but the little nudge always helps. A nice angle in the 7. Well, I suppose right at this moment in time, with the match score about to go 7-3, then we'd have to suggest that Simon's target is to get to 5 at least, if he can. And the sooner that he gets to 5, the more he's going to get himself back into the match. So the break in rack number 11 goes back to djsimon, trailing by 7 racks to 3. Desperately needs a ball in the break and a shot. Well, that was a tactical error if ever I've seen one, having your dinner while you're playing in a tournament. SemiPro's been using his wrong arm. Oh, that was a cracking jump there from Simon. Must have jumped about 2 foot over that one ball, straight into the middle pocket. So ball in hand once again for SemiPro. Let's have a quick look and see what mess we have up here. Well, he's got the little split in the 4, and that has worked out exceedingly nice, as Mr. Kipling would say. And he's got the nice little angle off this 5, just to run off that side rail, or he could just stun up. And this is just going to be dropped in dead weight, I would think. Unless he wants to run across the table, but... well... He's making life difficult for himself here. This is a tough cut. It's off the rail, but at that angle... it's in bedhead territory, but he's played it well. And again, he's going to have to pull another one out. Watch the cue ball. And he's just pinched the knuckle. And we know what these knuckles do. And it's a little gift for Simon to get him to 4. And like I say, the sooner he gets to 5, the more in the match he will be, as long as he can prevent SemiPro getting to 8. It's a simple bit of logic. And then once you get to 5, then anything can happen. This is where the work really starts for Simon. He has to get his head screwed on 110%. If he's going to get back in it. So still trailing by 3. That's not going to hit a rail, so it's ball in hand for SemiPro. Now, how does that look there? Right, he's trying to run in towards that 4 ball and just leave that behind the 5. Well, he hasn't got behind the 4, but he's got behind the 3. And there is a gap to get the kick straight down the sort of that way and up, and he's not going far enough. So same again for SemiPro, I would think, unless the gap has opened up on that 1 and the 5. Well, from this side the 1 goes, and he would have been on the 2. Now he's going for the 3 fouls here, but I don't know whether he looked at that 1 from this side. So the 3-shot foul tactic hasn't worked there. Simon's got the jump, and it'll be a billiard onto the 2 because he can't see enough of the 1. So he'll be calling the 2 into the corner and then just hoping he gets lucky. Now he hasn't called the 2, and he wasn't risking it, but to me the billiard was well on there. I'm surprised he didn't go for it, but whatever his strategy is, all that matters is that the strategy starts working for him. Well, he's not left anything on here for SemiPro. Well, that will do. It's a pretty good safety. So this match has now been on for about an hour and 5 minutes or so. And that is a good effort by Simon to try and get hidden. Well, he's got hidden, but SemiPro will jump that 3 and he's going to call the 9. Well, here's an opportunity, as long as he can get a sight on that 2. And it's amazing how there looks to be such a big area to get into, but how easy it is to nudge into something and fall behind something. But that's worked out nice. And a similar problem with this shot, in the sense that there's 10 balls in the way if you're coming out into the table. If he went between the gap and the 3 and the 4 there, he would have had a much simpler shot in the 3, but now he's hit the 4 and he's in a spot of bother. Yeah, that cut was not on. It had to be really thin. So Simon's chance was there, but it's all too quickly dwindled and gone. Well, this cue ball is going to have to move a bit, because that 7 is a big hindrance there. The cue ball has got to move to get a sight on this 6. But this time he's run into the 7, the 8, and the 7 is now the blocker. And he's only got the kick. He's not jumping that at that space. Well, the shot is there for Simon. He can see enough of the 6 to pot it, and he has to just go forward enough. Well, he's drawn back. If you stun it enough and you get out, can you get that into the middle? And that has actually turned out pretty well. We'll give him that. Where's the cue ball ending up? Where's the cue ball ending up? Oh dear. Well, I don't think you can see that. Nope, he's got to jump it. And he's got to pick the hit point on that 8. And this has to go. He's bound to be on the 9. I don't think he's... I think he's... well, he's got the double hit. Well, that was fortunate. Because it's went into the pocket that he was playing. Everybody knows he was playing it into that pocket, so it's still a legal shot. And that's pretty good pace for a shot in the 10. So SemiPro run out of position, blocked himself off with the 7 ball, and Simon's chance came about because of that. And it's back to within 2. So he's got the first target that we've set him. The target was to get to 5. And now the longer it goes on, the tighter things might become. Especially if Simon can pinch this rack. Because that's all you have to work on. It's just about trying to stay in the game. And it's now such a short race that Simon doesn't have racks to play with. Something has to happen now for him to pinch a rack or get a quick rack to give him any semblance of a chance of coming back and stealing this match. There's every possibility, because that is still on. He's going to have to play a good one here if he can see that 4. Because he's wrong side to get to the 5. Now how's his luck? Well, he's left it on. And these are the ones that are going to hurt. When you have that table at your mercy and you have a blast at a ball to try and get around the table, and then you leave your opponent on, these are the ones that are painful. Because you're running out of time. Well, there is a lifeline, and that is exactly like what Larry did last night. The big stun to manoeuvre the cue ball, and these pockets will not take it at pace if it's offline. And, well, need I say it, it is a second bite that Simon shouldn't have got. He's got it. Now can he take it? And he's going to be nice on the 7. He's at least going to see it. That's all that matters. And there's nothing to do with the cue ball other than get a sight on the 8 to roll it in. Because then you're on the 9 and you're on the 10. You cannot miss. It's all about the 8 ball. And now, if he can put these 2 away, the first phase and the objective in staying in the match was getting to 5. The first phase is over, and the second phase is now well and truly begun, because now he's got back to within 1, and the break goes back to SemiPro. So now the pressure is immediately on SemiPro, whether he wants to admit it or not. Because the first objective has been completed without SemiPro getting to 8. Now he's broke off. He's got the... what went? The 3 ball has gone. I don't think he's got a shot in the 1. That looks too tight, does it? Well, he's got the cover, but Simon will jump that. It's all a question of getting a bit of luck maybe that he needs now. If he's going to get luck, he needs it to happen at this end of the match. Whether it be escaping from a snooker or a kick shot or something. And this is how matches can change. And he's gone all out for the pot. Hasn't got it. And left SemiPro with a shot in the one. So now let's look at what the options are here. So it's either going to be as a 2-9 billiard. If he plays a 2-9 billiard, the two balls going anywhere. We don't know where it's going to go. If he's going to cut it from there, then the two ball can still go to that side rail and come out somewhere. So he's played the billiard as soft as he can, and that is pretty good. And look where the 4 is. Needs a bit of luck. Well, Simon's going to be in trouble. So unless SemiPro thinks he's just going to pot this 4 and get a shot in the 5, he should be burying the cue ball. And he hasn't done. He hasn't got that married. And Simon's got a shot in this 4 where he could well have a shot in the 5 if he gets lucky with this jump shot. Let's look at it from this angle. I don't think it's a great angle. It just depends on the reaction it gets off the rail. And this is going to come down. It needs to slow up. And that's exactly what I thought. If he can get it right, he can come down that side of the table for a shot in the 5. And now he's got to get clear on the 6. Oh dear, what's going on here? Oh, what's happened here? Let's have a look. Oh, he's still got it. He's still got a shot. And now he's going to hook himself behind the 8 if he's not too careful. He's still okay. And the second phase may well be complete if he can run these 3 balls. Now that he's had his dinner. So now, what does he do? He's got various ways of getting on the 10. A straight cut and run up and down the table. And anywhere over that side will do nicely. And now we have got a match on. And now the pressure is on. And it's going to be 7 racks all unless he does something silly like follow the 10 ball in. Well, I had all of that on XSplit broadcaster, but it's too inconvenient to work with that. I've got to have 2 monitors running, and I don't like it for that reason. And it doesn't have a good annotation thing either, which is another reason I don't really like using it for VP4. But anyway, back to the match. It's now rack number 15. djsimon, what was he down? 7-3? Or whatever. I'll need to look at the match again. And SemiPro has left a shot in the 2, and this is taken a funny turn, exactly like the way Larry was going on last night. The mistakes started to happen when the pressure came on. And of course Simon in that match had absolutely nothing to lose. But there's still a long way to go, both players needing 3 racks. And Simon has a combo on this 9. 4 balls going to run across the left hand side of the table. Again, no guarantee he will have a shot, but will he have control of the table? And he's hung up the 9, and he would have had a shot in the 4, and it would have been a chance to take the lead. So now we'll see how SemiPro's nerves hold up. He's got to get from the 6 to the 7, and that can always be an issue at the distance the 6 ball is away from the 7. And he's scratched into the pocket, and that is a gift and a half of a chance. Everything is going wrong exactly like Larry last night. Larry scratched in the middle pocket last night, I think, in a very similar time. Now, can Simon take advantage of these errors? And he's around the corner, and he's got the clear shot in the 8. And he's got to go right side of the table and not scratch in the right middle pocket. That's the objective here. Oh dear. And I think he saw a finish line that wasn't there with that shot. But of course the 8 ball's deep in the pocket. That is a bad miss for djsimon. He had the lead in his grasp, and SemiPro is going to overhit the 10, or the position to the 10. And this is a shot I keep talking about when you're going up the table for the 9 or the 10 ball like that, and you leave a shot like this. This is all or nothing. Well, what a shot to have to play to fend off djsimon. And in it goes, and the 10 ball is clean in the pocket. Cue ball doesn't scratch. And what a chance that was there for djsimon. And what a miss hanging up that 8 ball. He might have saw the finishing line there, but he was still 3 racks away from it. This is why I keep saying you've got to just keep your wits about you, think exactly about what you're doing, and stay focused on exactly what the shot is that you're doing as well. But it's now 8-7 to SemiPro, and it's anybody's game. Well, we've had some good matches over this weekend, I'll tell you that. And it's ball in hand for djsimon. And this match tonight between Stubb and Spectre Dawn will probably end up a dud. It's got a lot to go to live up to some of the stuff that we've seen. Now, once again, the cue ball is nowhere near tight enough for a very good safety. And what's more, SemiPro, if he can control the pace that he plays this jump shot, he'll be on the 2. And he's controlled it very well indeed. Now let's have a look at the 3 ball. Well, that 3 ball is going in if you can get on it. Now, can he get across? Well, I don't think, it looks as if he fancies the billiard, but that is a bit far away, I think, to cut that and make a billiard on it. He's tried his best, but that was a 1 in 100 shot, that. But now, is that a sign there? The strange, did SemiPro look at the 3 and see that it went past the 10? Or is he getting nervy and thinking he's not confident enough to go for the run out, or he wasn't worth risking it there? Now, what does Simon do here? Does he go all out for the 10 combo with a 3 at that distance? Now, what a bonus if this goes in, because this will hurt. Well, he's went to play the billiard to it, which has actually worked out not too bad. Although he's left a choice of a bank here for SemiPro. And it's right towards the diamond. He's still going to have to make this though. I don't think it's dead set. And he's played it well. And he's surely got to go up the table. How can he hold for this 5? Well, he's trying to baby it in as soft as he can, and he has done. I didn't think he could hold that. And he's pretty straight in the 5. Going to have to be from distance. Can SemiPro keep his nerve to get this rack done? Oh dear, what's going on now? I think he's pretty straight. And then it goes. No problem. So it looks very likely that SemiPro is going to give himself a bit more breathing space and get to within one. And it will be within one. Straight in 10 ball to go 9-7 up. And a break back with djsimon. He needs something to drop. The one ball thought about it, but no joy. So the push out played, and Simon will either play or pass. I'm thinking back to that 8 ball where he just had to pot it in the corner, let the cue ball run off the rail, and he was out and up the table for a shot in the 10. And he rattled and hung the 8 ball over the pocket, and that was the one he would have had to take the lead. And that could be the mistake that's cost him in the end. Well, Simon's missed a kick, and SemiPro could be the one that's going for the 3 fouls here. And he's going to try and nail that cue ball right on the 8. And this might be painful for Simon to watch, because there's no way he's getting out of that. No way. So he's got to think about tying something up here and making it difficult. But he's leaving himself open to the 3 foul anyway, but he has to try and lock something up. Well, he's tried to go for the kick. And so now SemiPro doesn't have a table that he's likely to run. So he's now looking to stick this cue ball. Well, he's looking at one option of sticking it behind the 2. And trying to find a way to get this tight. Now, whatever he does, he can pot the 1, the 2 and the 3 and still go for a safety off that 4 at the top end. And djsimon will still be in 3 fouls. Now, that would be the best chance. If he can get the 1, 2 and the 3 and get on the 4. Well, he's trying to get it behind the 2. And I think with that shot, this match may well be over, because that is tough. I'm looking to see where the angle is. He's going to have to spin it off the rail and hope, but I think this is done and dusted. Unless Simon can pick one out here. And it's over on 3 fouls. And it was a valiant effort by djsimon. I mean, he achieved the 2 objectives that we talked about, to at least try and get back into the match. And, well, he got there, but that miss on that 8 ball will haunt him, because he was 7-all with that 8 ball to get on, or whatever it was, the 8 ball to get on the 10, and he would have been in the lead at that time. So anyway, guys, we'll have a final look at the bracket, and let's have a look if we can get this thing to work. We can see that SemiPro is now through to the next round in the one-loss side, and he's going to have a good few days off. He can have more practice and maybe in a challenge room or whatever, because he's going to have a while to wait to get his next opponent, I would think. But now we are all set for the main event of the evening, which will start in approximately 2.5 hours time. Is that 6:30, 7:30, 8:30? Yes. So at 9 PM British Summer Time, 4 PM East Coast Time, 1 PM Pacific, we will have this match here between Spectre Dawn and Stubb. And that's going to be the race to 14. That's going to be war. Goodness knows what's going to happen, but hopefully it's going to be worth watching. So I'm going to have a break. I'm going to have a lie down. You guys take care, and hopefully you can join us later on for the third and final match of this Super Sunday, as well as the Super Saturday with the 3 matches yesterday. So it's been a good weekend, and hopefully you can join me later. So take care, and see you again, folks.